Into order, if you would stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic one nation indivisible, with justice and all. Okay. All right, Jessica, if you want to do the roll call.
Baker,
Here.
Kuhn, Dryden,
Here.
Hedrick,
Here.
Hines,
Here.
Mitchell,
Here.
Sassy,
Here.
Thompson, ambulance, finance,
Here.
police,
Here.
public works.
All right, thank you. Could I get a motion to approve the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 public hearing for the Yellowstone Park subdivision? Okay, and a second from Rhett. So that was Clyde and Rhett. All in favor of approving the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 public hearing for the Yellowstone Park subdivision, say aye. Okay, and you weren't. Okay, so Joanne and Betsy are abstaining. All right. And then the next item is a motion to approve the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 regular council meeting. Okay, Mike, can a second? Okay, Jason. All in favor of approving the minutes of the July 15th, 2025 regular council meeting, say aye. And abstaining? Joanne and Betsy again abstaining. All right, then in old business, we have the ordinance committee report from July 21st. And it's pretty buried in there. I'll tell you that.
Ordinance Committee report. We met on Monday, July 23, 2025 at 4:00 in the council room. In attendance was Mayor Dion, Kevin Thompson, Betsy Hedrick, and Director of Finance, John Sinner. We had one agenda item to look at, a review of the weed ordinance, ordinance 90.24, 90.25, 90.26. The ordinance committee met to review and discuss potential revisions to the city's current weed ordinance, specifically relating to penalties for noncompliance. The current process, Public Works sends out warning letters to property owners in violation. If violations are not resolved, Public Works proceeds with cleanup and bills to the property owner accordingly. Proposed actions. The committee recommends that the council consider adding the following penalty structure in addition to the current billing for cleanup performed by Public Works. $300 fine for the first offense, $500 fines for each additional offense. These penalties would be in addition to the charges incurred for the actual cleanup. Public comment was asked for, none was given. We adjourned at 4:04 and I have submitted this report.
Okay, thank you. The next item was the Personnel Committee report. There was no action on any of the items. They were all just FYI items. So we hired 3 more, I think it's in here, the actual minutes. Yes. So we hired, the same people were here, and the meeting began, I believe, at 4:02. We hired 3 new lifeguards to replace 3. The pool will close for the season on August 15th, 10 days later than last year. We've got lots of good comments about the pool, and many thanks to the pool managers and all the pool staff who've worked hard this summer. Number 2, we hired 2 new police officers. One's already started and the other started last week. The new dispatcher started this month. We still have an opening for a part-time dispatcher. Number 3 was a busy month for our firefighters, so thanks to all of them for keeping us safe, and thanks to everyone in the community who donated or brought food and water. And thanks to the Girl Scouts for all the cookies. The kindness of the people in Glendive is so appreciated. Number 4, contract negotiations are completed. Possible wage increase for elected officials will be presented at the August 5th, 2025 council meeting. And number 5, our summer public work employees have done a great job with the parks and controlling the weeds. So thanks to all of them. And that's all there was for that. So do we have any public comment? Business, the first item of new business is the nuisance complaint regarding 103 South Rosser. The property owner is asking for more time to abate. So would you want to come up, Mr. Whitso, and just if you could come up near that speaker there so we can pick up what you say. Just announce your name and your address, please.
Right here.
Just right there, yep.
Gary Whitso, 103 South Rosser Avenue.
Okay. So,
Okay, I'm here to ask for an extension for the cleanup of my property. Extension from September 1st was the deadline. I'm asking for an extension to October 1st. I've got an injury to my leg in July, and it's slowed me down quite a bit. And so I'm working on it every day. I need more time to clean up completely.
okay, everybody has the information in their packet, but I guess I should have made a motion before we started, but I'll make a motion after we hear Mr. Whitso.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
so, it says you have, according to the county sanitarian, the 7 inoperable motor vehicles and 18 motorcycles. There's other things, but do you have a plan what you're going to do with those? I know you're asking for an extra month, which till the end of September, right? September 30th, that's what your request is?
It would be October 1st,
Okay.
which is the first day in.
Yeah, okay. My question is, even though you're not doing anything tonight, tomorrow, whatever on it, but do you have, what's your plan to deal with, do you have that in front of you, like number 1 there? I was kind of concerned about all the motor vehicles that don't run and the motorcycles. Just curious, there is a junk vehicle program. I'm not sure what the state does with that, but anyway, go ahead. I asked you questions, so I'll let you answer.
Or not all the vehicles that are parked on my property are inoperable. My plan is to, the ones that I can get running, get them light. And move them to the street, or my understanding is if they're operable vehicles, they can remain on my property. But the county sanitarian said they were inoperable and they gotta go. The ones that are inoperable are gonna go away. I've got one that I pulled out the other day, Volkswagen bus, 78 for sale. Anybody in here? Anyway, I'm gonna put that on Facebook and I'm gonna sell it.
Okay.
And the ones that are inoperable are gonna probably have to go to Border Steel. I'm gonna drag them out of there and they might come and pick them up. I'm still working on that with them, so.
And then the motorcycles, similar?
The motorcycles will no longer be in view. I have a Quonset, I call it a canvas Quonset, and they're gonna go in there and then they're gonna be covered up and you won't be able to see them.
Okay.
I'm also gonna put up more fence so that, according to the city ordinances, the fences will, I believe, eliminate the problem of people seeing whatever I have in my backyard.
There's something too, I don't know, because we
It
had an
doesn't
issue
really-
like this years ago.
Would really help the situation. If we got the initial complaint on May 5th, and we are in August, hoping to get a month extension. I just don't see, I drove by there today, I just don't see how we can get this cleaned up. putting a fence around it is basically, in my opinion, it's going to lipstick and pig here. The cats and the problems that neighbors aren't gonna get fixed by just putting a wooden fence around the property. It's gonna. You need to make some major headway or get some help. I think that's where we're at.
I didn't receive this ordinance until, June the 3rd. That's when it was given to me by the police supervisor. So the letter says May 4th, but, that was the date, I guess it was May or whatever. But I didn't get the ordinance until the 3rd of June. The next day I had a demolition dumpster brought over and, 5 days later, it was filled with almost 2,400 pounds of, junk. So that was hauled off.
But in this petition, it says emits an immense odor of decaying animals, and a fence is not gonna stop that decay. And there's rodents and mice and cats that are living in your bed, and that's, the fence is not gonna stop that either.
That's a falsehood. There is no storage unit full of cardboard, with animals in it. Everything is locked up. So, that part of the complaint is not true. There is no odor. That area is locked up. So, I don't appreciate that being put on the complaint when it's not true.
Mr. Witta, did you meet personally with, Mr. Gordon, the sanitarian?
Yes, 2 times.
And so this was the last written communication with you guys.
That's when I went in to ask for an extension because of the problems with my leg. The ulcer on my leg, and at that time he said, well, we'll give you an extension to September 1st. So my cleaning it up has been slowed down by this ulcer that I have on my leg.
Sir,
Yes,
I think it's great that you have filled a roll-off already
yes.
and did that. So thank you for that. And when you say you want another month extension and you have a bad leg, do you really think, are you really gonna be able to do this, or, you know, you need help? Or would you rather do it yourself, or what do you see working?
I think that with some help that I can get it cleaned up by October,
But it can all be cleaned up by October 1st.
by October 1st. The one issue that was brought up is about this stench from, of dead animals and such from one of my sheds. It's not there. And yes, this shed needs some work on the roof. That part of this, if someone wants to come over and walk into my sheds, they'll see that there isn't an odor. Okay, so that part of it, I don't think I don't know how to address that if it doesn't exist, that it was placed on the nuisance, form. So, I have, got some people lined up to help me. I've talked with Mayor Dion and, she's suggested that I contact the college, which I made some phone calls up there, and I'm waiting to hear back so that some of the athletes up there can come down and help me pick it up. I'm pretty confident that I'll have it done by October 1st, but not by September 1st. But I'll have it done by October 1st,
One more month, you do it.
to October
Yeah.
1st. Yes, please.
Okay, any other questions for Mr. Whitson?
Should I, excuse me, Mayor, could I add one thing?
Sure.
Most of what I have been cleaning up so far has been in my backyard.
Mhm.
And I'm moving the junk motorcycles and a lot of the, other steel back there. I'm trying to do the hardest thing first. If you were to go by there today, you would see that I've made quite a bit of progress if you compare it to. I think I have. So yes, that my request is an extension to, October 1st. Please.
Okay, any other questions or,
I have a question to the
Okay.
council, but not really to,
okay,
or to the mayor, but not really to Mr. Whitso, but just one last thing if I could. So then, Mr. Gordon, did he
Yes.
visit your property then? Was
He
he
was-
at your property?
He was there for the initial inspection.
Okay,
I've told him and I've given him my phone number. He's welcome to come by anytime, check out on the front of the side.
so when he,
Any of you are welcome to come and give me advance notice and we'll walk through it.
so when he put down about the feral animals and wild animals and such, he was reporting from his own personal experience there is what I'm getting at. Even though you disagree with him, which is fine, I mean, that happens, but,
Well,
and hopefully, some cleanups happened since he's been here. Go ahead.
absolutely. There's been cleanup. My understanding was that whoever filed the complaint put the part in about the feral animals and the foul odor. And it wasn't necessarily him. Because there isn't any foul odor. Or I should add this right now. At the end of February, my basement flooded. And I had to haul a bunch of cardboard and other junk out of the basement. I had 2 inches of water down there. It ended up in my yard. Now, and I believe I don't know when he came by and checked out my property. Now, that might have been what the complaint was about the cardboard in the storage unit. That's emitting a foul odor. That's all cleaned up. It's all gone. That went into the demolition dumpster. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, and it's for the record then, there was one demolition dumpster. There wasn't more than one, just one.
Just one. Yeah, that was on June the 5th and it was there for 5 days and then they came and hauled it off. It's almost 2,400 pounds.
Did you fill that up by yourself?
I had one friend who came and helped.
Okay. Thank you.
any other questions for Mr. Whitson? Okay, all right, thank you. Oh, yes, Rick.
No, I was just at a point where I would make a motion to extend the, oh, you
I have a question, so not in this ordinance, we don't do the cash.
Well, we haven't in the past, and that's part of the problem is we're not following the steps of our own ordinance.
Where is
Because
that at, Big Sam?
the problem, when we get a complaint, then there's the steps to take. And, so it says here. Should have highlighted.
We should get the motion on the
Yes, I thought,
floor.
well,
and
we
then-
could make
Then we
it,
can ask questions.
yeah, okay, so
Nothing is. question.
let's get a motion to,
So I make a motion.
okay. And could I, okay, and we got a second from Doug, okay. All right, so any other discussion? I'm trying to find the spot where it talks about a cash. payment.
General, I had a question about the same. Because I remember reference to the
It says
sanitarian may not be in our process
it says
anymore.
any extension, the owner posts a cash deposit on
It's,
page 6F. Yeah.
I think we didn't spend the date of the grant.
Mm-hmm.
How much is that? Say that there.
No, it doesn't. And,
No cats.
and I don't believe that in the past that that's been followed when we've given other people an extension.
But do we need to, I mean, the lawyer's here, we can ask him what he thinks.
I think we need to start doing what our ordinances say. Understand, like, I get that if we haven't done it in the past, that's in the past, why aren't we, just redid all of our ordinances, why aren't we following them going forward?
I think one of the problems to address, Joanne, is that, that nowhere in our ordinance does it say that any of this goes to the sanitarian. So in this case, the people who complained brought me a nuisance and took it to the sanitarian, and he was the one who sent the certified letter. So unfortunately, when he did that, and then when he granted the extension, it got us out of order of following our ordinance. So that's kind of why we're here today, to try to determine if we can grant an extension, what the cash amount would be. It's a deposit that they get back when they complete the project. But so we've kind of missed some of these processes, and now we're at the city council part. So, and it's through no fault of our own, but I have another nuisance ordinance that I'm following to the letter. So, this is how we're trying to get back on track. So I think that we can discuss if we want to grant Mr. Witzel an extension and what the bond would be.
Well,
Yes, Red.
So it is, Red City. Or steps that we get refreshed. And we don't have the dollar amount, I would say. And if I need to change my motion, I would say to grant extension to October 1st without a cash deposit. And then moving forward, we just need to, I don't know if we need to sit down with the sanitarian and figure out the process so that, that then, like say on the next one, that we do follow it to the letter. But since if we're kind of messed up and it's to no fault of Mr. Witzel's, then
No, it's not.
a 1 month, one-time extension without a cash deposit.
It'd be $20. Whatever, I'd just like to hear from John, what,
You certainly can. The council can go either way. It does state that if the council is going to grant an extension, an amount issued, and I think it's days, I think it had to be paid. But in this situation, I've looked at it, looked at the process that transpired. I don't see any process issues for Mr. Witzel that would cause us issues. If you wanted to just go forward without an extension, or if you wanted to go, as Rhett said, without really all options are on. Given that I feel comfortable that there's been no failures in on our behalf for this.
Mayor?
Yes.
If everyone's satisfied with that information so far. I mean, not that they agree with it or whatever, but, so there's a motion to extend it to October 1st. My question is, at that point, if things aren't done, then what does the process call for after October 1st?
Okay, then we,
If things aren't, the conditions aren't met, and we better make this clear, at least to me. The conditions to be met are the conditions outlined by the sanitarian, even though we're not using him.
No, I
No, it's by the people who are complaining.
yeah, it's also and we did get an email from, one of the complainants, asking that on behalf of the signatures of the complainant and myself, no further extensions be issued and that the city proceed to dispose of the junk vehicles, broken appliances, and various other items as soon as possible, as time is of the essence. So the neighbors certainly want to see this happen. So, yes, if it isn't completed by the date, then what happens is Public Works goes over to Mr. Witzel's and they do a visual survey of the material and they make an estimate of what it's going to cost for the city to clean it up. And then we proceed with cleaning it up. And then we bill Mr. Witzel on his property taxes. We have to go through a lien process. So we skipped that and we're now, have moved forward, but I don't think that it's necessarily wrong because he's asking for an extension and saying that he'll have it done. And so,
Can I follow up on that though?
Yeah.
So you said that, on October 1st, then if it's not done, then of course, our Public Works does an determination, because the petition here is not, the people filled it out in their good faith and everything. I don't know that we own what is said here, though.
Yeah,
I mean, what is put down here is put down by the petitioners, right?
right.
So we don't own that. I mean, that's then the document that we're going to enforce on October 1st. That's what I'm trying to get at. If things
Yeah.
aren't done,
Well,
then I don't want to go too many hypotheticals, but it's a pretty basic thing. So if on October 1st, and Mr. Wisso's still here, so on October 1st, then Public Works goes over and they take this, which looks pretty similar to the sanitarian, really.
and we have the sanitarian letter
And
that
then
he
they
wrote.
make their determination, and then they decide what it's gonna cost for that, and then he gets the bill and it's on his property taxes. Okay.
record. But to go on with that though, that I think problem that I've had past about and if we have gone away from the involvement of the sanitarian, we have our own ordinance, then the violations is violating our ordinance, not a letter from the sanitarian, not a letter from the neighbors. So it has to be.
Well, it's still, I think it would still be,
Okay,
a
well-
nuisance petition, but what I'm saying is it says that, a representative, will go look at it. So in this case, it was a sanitarian, and I'm not sure where that came from, because this ordinance is 23 years old, and the sanitarian has been involved since I've been mayor, but I don't know when that happened, because it should be Public Works looking at it, making an assessment of the cost to clean it up.
Yeah, but then based on ordinance, not necessarily, but even
Right.
if it closely aligns with our ordinance, okay, that's fine, but when they go to take an assessment of it and they start cleaning up, it's gotta be outlined by the ordinance that we have.
Right,
It's out.
right.
So that's,
And our ordinance does match up with a lot of the MCA. So,
I would just like to say that Brandt is he's smart in his field. I mean, this is his field, health, and I think that's why he is used, the county sanitarian, is because they have expertise in,
Right, well, but I'm
Everything.
just saying our ordinance. So
Right.
Our ordinance. That. I could be wrong. Right, but I think it's kind of somewhat started, when, what's his name was on top?
Kevin.
Penn.
Can, yeah.
Sanitarian. So he would pay for and some of this other stuff, and I think that collaboration just recently kind of started then, and that's why we were utilizing the sanitarian more, but I'm just saying, for our own housekeeping and legal purposes, we're gonna be tied to sanitarian with our ordinance, then our ordinance should probably say that.
what's
It-
in a
It,
person.
it says the city zoning coordinator or other city personnel specifically designated by the city council shall examine or cause to be examined whether any property or thing has been maintained so as to constitute a nuisance. So if the city council determines it's a sanitarian, but I couldn't find anywhere that we ever did. So it would be the zoning coordinator unless we specify someone else, then that would be following our ordinance. So,
There's just one last question on the ordinance. October 1st, whatever, after that deadline, if that is adopted. Can the council contract out the actual cleanup, or does it have to be city employee? We have a representative that goes over, you see what I'm getting at? Instead of Public Works, we say, well, these guys will actually do that, here's what they charge, go do it, here's what you're supposed to do. And I might be getting too far ahead of us on that, but I was just wondering if that ordinance requires the city employees.
well, they
Yeah.
do, it does require the city personnel to testify to us as to what
Right.
everything is gonna be, so. And then, we have to pass a resolution or whatever
Right.
after, but, it does seem to say pretty clearly that city personnel shall keep an itemized account of all expenses involved in the demolition, removal, and cleanup. City personnel shall mail a copy of the statement to the property owner. So it does state city personnel throughout the ordinance, so. Yes,
It's quite such a. It does.
okay.
But the bottom line is if Mr. Witso is able to get all this done by whatever deadline is arrived at here in the immediate future, then all that goes away for the moment. Okay,
Personally, this stuff didn't just appear there on the first week of May. I feel like we owe it to the neighborhood. The people that are signing names here and filing complaints. We gotta do something.
Yeah, and I don't.
It's likelihood of getting 18 motorcycles and 7 vehicles and miscellaneous appliances and
Fence up.
the stuff done in 30 days is pretty slim. And the neighbors have been dealing with this for quite some time.
well, that's why he's here though, to be honest. 'Cause 30 days is the end of August. So he's asking for October, but I get your point. I understand it. and It's a good point. You see what I just said? 30 days is not where
He's already received one extension.
from,
Well, but in my point of view, this is the first I've been involved with it. So this is the first extension that I've known of. This is the first.
That's true.
And just to be so, and also, I mean, see, still are fumbling a little bit through this. And, again, I don't think Mr. Witzel should suffer for us not being crystal clear on some of this stuff, so that's why I would be in favor on extension October 1st. If it isn't by then Public Works, have at her, that, but.
I agree with Brad. And I think moving forward too, that we have to have an outline, because where I'm confused right now is what the expectations are for you. By that deadline, that if we do say, yes, we want to give you this extension, which I currently am in favor of, just because I agree that it hasn't been clear and it's still, the waters are pretty muddy right now. But what the expectations are for you to have we have not been able to go out there and assess at all. And we don't know what we would like cleaned up by that frame. So if he wants to put up a fence, yeah, I know the sanitarian has written you a letter and all of that, but that's not our policy. I'm just worried that we're gonna give him the extension and he's gonna do his best to get some things done. Whose expectations are we looking at has he met those requirements? What are the requirements?
I think and that's another reason.
Are we gonna follow exactly what the sanitarian?
Right.
I think we all have to agree that that's what we're gonna follow.
Brought up because of just the arguments that have been in some of the past since whatever it is. You know, the homeowner who we're having to go evaluate the property have different expectations. So I just think they need to be out so that
So who's going to check after the extension?
I think it'll be Brant. I
Will
think
be
he'll,
Brant.
yeah, I mean,
It
I
won't
think
a
he'll
city.
be, I think he'll make the determination too. He'll come back and say he's satisfied,
Well, then-
since he's been involved.
Uh,
Which
but,
so?
I think it's important that you know what you have to do. And I think, can we ask Brant to give him a checklist?
Because he has.
Perfect.
Yeah, this letter is pretty clear. Mm-hmm.
okay, and that's.
I think we have to do.
That, and then
Just, this is what I'm gonna do. Step number 3, which says I have a storage shed with failing roof that has filled with cardboard box. That's not true. How would he know what's inside that storage shed? One of my neighbors said, it's not true. They're not rotting corpses in the shed. So, but anyway, my understanding is I'm following this letter.
Okay.
So if there are going to be changes to that, we're kind of like in.
No, in my mind, that's good. If there's already clarity and everybody's on the same page, no pun intended, then I think that's good. And then just housekeeping moving forward, questions for our, city attorney. Do we need to have a formal agreement with the sanitarian to fulfill the goal for it? I think as long as, because, well, I guess, is it the council's intention to have do this in every future case? Well, like we were kind of saying, I think he's been out doing this consistently, and I think that's the way we feel moving forward, I guess, right?
If it's the council's intention to utilize him going forward,
Yeah. Then maybe the next, ordinance meeting? You guys could talk about that. in the council meeting.
My opinion here is, this was done in May. He didn't get it till June 4th. He says his injury to his leg in July hampered him from doing any of this work. But he went in on June 24th to ask for this extension before his leg was hurt.
I mean, good arguments, but until we can execute our operations.
He had 30 days. He didn't follow through with that. He went in before his leg got hurt and asked for another extension.
Mayor,
No, that was my first extension, not another extension.
Well,
could I, excuse me,
Yes.
Yeah. If on October 1st, what the city has set as the requirements are met, people will be happy.
people will be happy, but if this not.
Hold on now, let me finish. So whether it's September 1st, I get the heartburn, but give me a break. If it's done on October 1st, people will be, they may not be happy with me or you or whatever, but things will be better off. Now, that is a big task from where we're at right now. I mean, I couldn't see physically that it would be done by the end of this month. Whether it should have been or shouldn't be, doesn't matter. In 30 days, as Jason pointed out, this stuff doesn't happen overnight. It happens over years. So if this is done by October 1st, I would be pretty happy, and I think the neighborhood. But I do have a question with this, Mayor. Just one last question on this, since we're talking about October 1st as a deadline here. And City Attorney, maybe you want to weigh in too. What is the due process? My point is, if on October 2nd, we failed from county sanitarian and our city representative that the requirements haven't been met, what due process is there for Mr. Whitso? In other words, I'm trying to answer your points, which I agree with, is we don't want this going on and on and on. Those people have waited long enough. So on October 2nd, can we move ahead then and proceed and take action? And Mr. Whitso will be kind of, you missed your opportunity. I would say this, while you're in this process with that, you need to have the sanitarian check off with you as stuff are done. So don't wait till October 1st and then he gives you, well, you got half it done. Well, now you're in trouble. You're in trouble with us because we're making an agreement right here at this moment.
And my
But
point,
October 1st, if you only have a quarter or a half and you put in all your time and your effort, that's not gonna be good enough, I think is what we're saying. That it has to be done if he grants the extension.
and my point is, these people have, just like Jason said, these people have waited a long time. And October 2nd comes and only one quarter of it is done. We dropped the ball.
Well, the city will then act. The city.
But it's too.
Maybe I think he's agreeing.
I
That's what I'm seeing and hearing from him right now is that he's agreeing that if it's not on the first done, that he has dropped the ball and he has to accept that the city is gonna come in and take all of his stuff and they are gonna do with it and they are gonna charge him for it. Right? Did I get that right?
Yes,
Okay.
Mayor Dion sent me a letter, dated July 15, 2025. And it says in this letter, to ensure the process is completed on September 2nd, the city will be at your property to verify that it is abated. If the property is not cleaned up at that date, the city will determine what the cost will be for the city crew to complete the abatement. You will be notified of the cost and the city crew will clean up the property and dispose of the nuisance material at the city landfill. The cost for the cleanup and the disposal costs will be assessed on your property taxes. So I have that letter from Mayor Dion.
You've had several notifications, a couple letters from the sanitarian, the letter from me, so I feel that, you've been informed, and as Mr. Ruba said, he's had his due process, so then it's just, if we give him a chance, and if he doesn't do it, then we go in and clean it up. That's basically what he's asking for.
Just one question, Mayor, then. Mr. Whitso, you're aware that there's $190 charge for the roll-off. Is that correct? That's
What it cost for me for the.
and that's outstanding. That hasn't been paid, correct?
No, I haven't paid that.
Okay. This,
So that was a big help, that roll off. And I'd like to do it again. I'm just short on cash. If I need to, as we're getting closer to the deadline, I'll do it again a week before. But I don't anticipate that. I've made a lot of progress so far. And I'll meet the October 2nd deadline date.
One question before the vote.
Mhm.
You guys want a roll call vote?
Yep.
I can't figure.
All right. So we've had a first and second for the motion, which is to grant an extension for Mr. Witso to October first to clean up the property. So do you wanna?
Did Rhett amend that to without cash deposit?
Correct, I can
I had
amend
wrote
my-
that
I
down.
can amend my,
I
Or
don't
not.
think- Yeah, well, we have it without the cash deposit at this time. Okay,
Okay, Baker,
Yes.
Kuhn?
Yeah.
Dryden,
Yes.
Hedrick,
Yes.
Hines?
Yeah.
Mitchell,
No,
Sassy?
Yeah.
Tom, it's not here. So motion passes.
it passes,
Five,
so you're
two.
granted the extension. Mhm. Okay,
I have a question.
yes,
Am I understanding that I'm required to pay a deposit, or is that? not-
we're waiving it at this time, but in the future, we're going to make sure that we follow through and
Alright.
any extensions are met with a cash
Thank you.
deposit, please.
housekeeping, if the ordinance, we want to talk about that, just set some,
Some guidelines.
yeah, all.
we have,
I have one other question, that I received a letter, no, I need to have to, so,
Yes, I'll send you a letter.
thank you.
Mayor, just one more housekeeping thing.
Yes,
On the $190 charge that's already there, which wouldn't be a bad place in the future for somebody to look at as far as deposits. You know, what a typical roll off is gonna cost. I know there's not a set fee, but there's kind of a ballpark. Anyway, will that go on taxes then if it's not paid in a certain amount of time?
I think it could.
Well, just so that I think it could and should if it's not paid in a certain time, because
Mhm.
that's what we're doing here.
Right.
He's gonna be responsible and we're gonna be responsible. So then, he already has that charge. So.
we can't pay the 190. We can pay it.
Yep.
Well, we've done that, it's.
Yes, okay, so we're moving on to motion to approve the lot aggregation for the Riverview Park subdivision. The owners are Lee and Mary Smith. Can I get a motion for that? And a second? Okay, John. All right, so this is from quite a while ago, but it took a while to get the map thing. So this is their lot. It's basically not anything too fancy. It's just putting three lots together and making it into one. So here we are. So, well, it's on Snyder Avenue. And what's and
South
Taylor,
Taylor.
South Taylor and Snyder, kind of over by Makoshika. That Snyder is that road that goes to Makoshika. It's the Riverview Park subdivision, so. Mhm. So anyway, that's, sorry, I didn't put that in your packet, but you know, you had quite a bit in there, so,
This already goes one more,
yeah.
and they
Yeah.
recommended it.
Yes, so we're just, these are just little housekeeping things, so. Is there any discussion about it? So all in favor of approving the lot aggregation for the Riverview Park subdivision with the owners Lee and Mary Smith, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone abstaining? No, okay. Now, the next item is to approve the Yellowstone Park minor subdivision. You have all that information in your packet. We've already had the public hearing and that was the time to have discussion. So could I get a motion to approve the Yellowstone Park minor subdivision? Okay, Doug, and a second by Joanne. All right, so all in favor of approving the Yellowstone Park minor subdivision plan?
That's just the question.
Yes, certainly.
So then when we vote right here, you're voting to approve what's called Yellowstone Park Phase 1 and Phase 2.
Yes, I put phase 1 on here, but I forgot about the phase 2 and then I already had the agenda.
Oh, it does say Phase 1 there.
Yeah, it does,
So
but
what are we doing? with the
we're
motion?
just approving the Yellowstone Park minor subdivision. It's phase 1 and phase 2.
Okay, we're approving both of them, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I wasn't at the hearing, but I just, I'm wondering about curb sidewalk and gutter. Is that on the developer or is that on the homeowner?
It is supposedly has all been taken care of. They've met all the zoning regulations. They have the infrastructure and they've done everything, is my understanding. And
This company has?
well, they're doing it they're doing one thing at a time. The way that this is working is they're,
Without Frank here, looking back, could be wrong, but I do believe that is part of the Montana subdivision regulations that they have to adhere to. So that's why it's in phase 1 and phase 2. So the first phase, they will be extending services to as far as phase 1, and then at the time, and they had to have a bond, cash bond or something in place, which they do. So if they bail out in the middle of the subdivision, then they take the cash bond and finish it.
And they're
So,
also asking people that want to buy these upfront money too. right?
yeah, and that's, I mean, but that
So we
doesn't
could
get,
have citizens just out money.
well, that would probably be a civil. The city that would not, yeah, so for extended services, but that's following Montana subdivision law. So they would put sidewalk, curb, gutter, water, sewer, storm, asphalt, gas, electric, all utilities up as far as your subdivision goes, and that's, I think, also why they did 2 phases, so it wasn't such a big, biting out such a big chunk at one time.
I just thought it was poorly designed and put together. So I will probably be voting no on it.
And so, Mayor and Assistant Director, Mr. Coon, I don't mean that too sarcastic, really. With phase 2, the engineering's not done, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and the bond is not there. But we approve it here, but for them to develop that in the future, they will have to put up a cash bond that will cover the cost of development, which we wouldn't know until the engineering's done. Is that correct? Or the engineering is a separate thing altogether for phase 2? I remember talking to Frank at the meeting about this.
Well, I haven't seen the engineering that they've done so far, but typically the engineering stuff would be done. I'm sure they didn't pay for the engineering to be done on phase 2, so they would pay for the engineering to be done on
When they do phase 2.
Right.
The money will be put up then. What I'm getting at is we're approving it now, but so when that comes later, we won't have any say in whether,
Well,
but
I
the
mean,
conditions are there, and if they're not met, then it will follow the state law.
The developer must post a performance bond for 110.5% of the use cost estimate, plus 1 year's maintenance guarantee, so the city can complete or fix teamwork. Because that's what they do.
but I guess that's a good question, and I don't know. What?
well,
This is out of my world.
one of the questions says, why is the subdivision split into phase 1 and 2? This is in your packet. It says Montana law lets us build and record phase 1 once it meets all standards, while phase 2 can follow under the same plat once the developer provides financial guarantees. It helps match infrastructure capacity to actual demand. So they must do 110 to 125% of the engineer's cost. It says yeah, so there are, they've answered the questions, they've gone through the steps, and we've had the public hearing, and Mr. Sanderson has, made some of this in red, so it's easier for us to read and what we need to pick out of there. we only have so many days to vote on this after the public hearing, so this isn't something that we can table and put off.
This-
So,
Mayor, just, and thank you, but the very last question says, will the public get to review phase 2 later? And yes, must go through standard amendment or final plat process, which includes another public notice and hearing. But I'm not sure what good a hearing is if the governing body, which is us, doesn't then vote on it. See what I'm saying? A hearing doesn't determine anything. It just, people give input. And even the planning board doesn't have real statutory authority. They have advisory authority, but anyway. I think the other things that have been stated will
yeah, my understanding,
suffice in my mind, but it is funny that it says public review. To me, it should then go to a public governing body for a vote, because otherwise, I mean, talking hearings are nice, but they lead to an action, a legal action. But it doesn't say that here. It just says another public notice and hearing, but,
Let's say here that city is gonna have to be known as Yellowstone Park Phase 1 and be approved, subject to the following conditions.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was the only question I had. So maybe we need to just vote on Phase 1.
Well, let's leave it as it is then, approving Yellowstone Park Phase 1 minor subdivision. And if there's any other
that's,
discussion about it,
and that's what the motion is right now.
right?
Okay. I'm sorry, it was muddy in the water for everybody.
Okay, any other discussion about it? All right, well, this isn't something that would require a roll call vote. Do you want to do a roll call vote? Do you feel more comfortable with that? Okay. All right, let's do the roll call vote for the approving the Yellowstone Park Phase 1 minor subdivision.
Baker.
Aye.
Kuhn.
Aye.
Dryden.
Aye.
Hedrick.
No.
Hines.
Aye.
Mitchell.
Aye.
Sassy.
Aye.
Motion passes.
The next item is to approve the agreement for services on an as-needed basis with I. Bailey. Could I get a motion for that?
So moved.
Okay, Mike, and a second by Betsy. All right, so that is in your packet. We don't know that we will need I. Bailey anymore, but, they did offer us basically the same thing that they've given us now, and they're giving us a pretty good deal. So, it's in there and it explains, like, if we want to make a call and ask a question, it depends on who we talk to, how much it's gonna cost, but, I thought, just for now, John's still new, and of course, I struggle with these kind of things. So, it was a pretty typical, a lot like the agreement that we already have with them. And they're willing to do as little or as much as we need. So if we don't need them, we don't pay anything. And if we do need them for a question, then, we have them there as a resource. Yes, sir.
The couple questions.
We did budget for it. Yes. Yes, Jason.
I think just at least do the budget process. You know, I like the idea.
Oh, they've been really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really helpful.
Mhm.
I mean, they've done a good job before John got here, but now John got here, they have an offer, so it's worked pretty well.
Yes, Mike.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pay their full rate for July and August to get through the budget process, which was already a reduction from what they were charging us last year. And then starting in September, it will go to the as needed basis, so.
Yeah, and John answered some of the question, and then you have, We call that kind of year-end clearinghouse stuff. I forget the names that,
Annual financial report.
yeah, those things are, will be coming in this fall then after the budget, stuff like that.
So
Okay.
that's why, a big part of why we wanted to keep them available is to, finish that up and have continuity since they've done a lot of this couple of years. And there's always stuff that comes up, unusual stuff that might come up that we have on questions on, or, it's just good to have them available if we need them. So basically, we're gonna budget 6 months out of the year. After December, there's really not a lot that comes up with the county. But then next fiscal year, we'll kind of do probably budget for the first of the year again, just as a placeholder and go with that.
Perfect. Okay. Any other discussion? All right, since this is an agreement, kind of like a contract, we will need to do a roll call vote for approving for services on an as-needed basis with I. Bailey.
Baker,
Aye.
Kuhn, Dryden,
Aye.
Hines, Mitchell.
Aye.
Sassy.
Okay. The next item is to get a motion to approve resolution 3181, which is a 2.5% wage increase for elected officials. Can I get a motion for that? Okay, Jason, in a second. Okay, Mike. Got Jason and Mike. All right, any questions or discussion about this? No?
For the all elected officials,
Yes.
judge, mayor, council.
Other questions or discussion about it? All right, it's a resolution, so it's a roll call vote.
Baker.
Aye.
Kuhn, Dryden,
Aye.
Hedrick.
Aye.
Hines,
No.
Mitchell. Sassy. Passes.
The next item is to set and approve fines for weed violations. Can I get a motion for that? Okay, Betsy, in a second. Okay, Joanne. All right, so any discussion about this? It is in the weed ordinance, which is in your packet, and I believe in there, it's not called a fine, it's called a penalty. And so it says that we can assess a penalty, and then we can penalize them every time that we go back. So we send a letter, we're putting a notice in the paper. And once they've received their letter, and if they don't respond, they have 7 days to clean up their weeds. And then the city goes in and does it and bills them. But as Frank has said many times, we've got a lot of repeat offenders, and it doesn't seem to be a deterrent when there's no penalty. You know, you don't clean them up, the city cleans them up, it goes on your taxes, and then we just keep doing it. So it did seem to make sense that we have a penalty, and at the ordinance committee, we just had Kevin and Betsy there at that meeting, but first we proposed $100, and that seemed like that wouldn't really be a deterrent to people. So the ordinance committee came up with $300 for the first offense, and then $500 each time that we have to go back. So if you have a suggestion for a different amount, or go ahead, Mike.
Well, I suggest different there, that others, if they like. The penalty that you just mentioned, that's in addition though to what
The cleanup
cost of our people to clean it up.
Right, we would charge them that.
Which is
that's
what
the
we
penalty,
used to do in the past, just charge that.
right, with no penalty.
Right.
But we do have the ability to levy a penalty. Yes.
If they don't pay the penalty,
It goes,
collections or
it goes on their taxes. It goes, it's assessed on their property.
you start renting?
Well, you know, that's a concern. And honestly, sometimes $300 is a lot of money for people. I mean, even $100 can be a lot of money. I realize you might not think that's a deterrent, but, it can be a hardship. So.
Got mine done.
It's also expensive for 5 or 6 city workers to spend all morning on property. All property owners need to put that into perspective. If we have to step in, it's an expense at the city, but it's the taxpayers that are paying.
That's exactly true. It's all the taxpayers, and that keeps the city workers from doing other tasks as well. So, I mean, we have sent out a lot of weed notices lately, and we have gotten a few calls about them. So, people are cleaning them up, but, you know, they do grow back. So,
So the city, how long does it take the city to assess what the charge is? Like, you have 5 workers versus 3 workers, obviously it would be a different charge course. Then how long did it take, et cetera?
right. And, you know, what equipment was used in the landfill fees, because we have to haul a bunch of stuff to the landfill. Sometimes it's a little more than mowing the weeds.
Right, right. But I mean, all those charges would be levied before anything we do here.
Well, we would send them a bill, and then if they don't pay it, that's when it goes on their taxes.
Right, but I'm saying that the charges are already there, whether we have a penalty or not. But now we're adding,
Mhm.
the suggestion is the first time 300 extra to that charge.
Right.
Yeah, if you guys went 100, 300, 500, I don't know. It's nice people have a lot of, it's kind of like where people get pulled into court and they can't pay even the cost of the court that they get pulled into, so it kind of defeats itself. But if you guys, because you're probably looking at $500, I'm guessing it easily costs over $100
We definitely.
just to send people over there to do it, so.
So not to get too deep in the weeds, huh? I feel like that one.
That is a good one, that is a good one.
So is the repeat offender reset each year? Or the
It
lifetime?
could be, no, it could happen 5 times in the summer if they,
Well, but I mean, so they get the first time offense,
right.
25, then if they get another offense in 26, still first time offense, or is it?
I think it would start over every year, but it isn't specified in our ordinance. But my understanding was if we charge them $300 and then in a month and a half, we have to go back, and then it's $500, and then you have to go back in the fall. You know, I would think that they would respond to the first $300, because I think that's a pretty substantial penalty for not mowing your weeds.
But I think it should reset each.
Yeah, I agree.
Mayor, this is, I know a lot of research has been shut down around things, not so much right here, but how much of the problem comes from absentee landlords? They don't live here.
That I don't know that.
Yeah, that's.
And we do try to give people a break because we know people work in the oil field, or, you know, they might be gone for 2 weeks at a time.
Right.
So they do have that 7 days that they can contact us and, you know, say if they get the letter and they're not here. I think we've been pretty flexible.
Then with a property owner and a renter, the property owner's job is to, if he wants a renter to do it, to figure out how that gets done. Because we hold the property owner
Right.
responsible.
We bill the property owner, yes. So do we have a motion for, is that what we're gonna follow, the ordinance recommendation for the penalty? Because I'm wondering if we could make a,
I'll make
Okay,
Make that motion, say, 3 cents every year.
mhm, yeah,
I'll
okay,
second.
And the
Alright.
amounts, do you want to include that
yeah,
in the motion?
I think we can, but I
And-
think it amends it.
And maybe the process is set by the council to set the limit. There's no administrative body that's gonna set the limit on the penalty. I mean, the amount, that's what we, so in the future, if we change it, it'd have to come to the council to change it. It's not any administrative.
Well, what is, you know, my skills aren't that keen on this, but what I'm saying is, if we make a recommendation, all fees are set by resolution because we have a resolution that says all fees are set by resolution. So whatever you determine, we are gonna have to vote on it at the next meeting with a resolution with a number, that I
Okay.
find the number, and then I type up the resolution with all this information. But what I'm asking you guys to do now is to say what the penalty is going to be, basically what we want to have in the resolution for the next meeting, because we will have to approve the resolution, because we can't just set fees without a resolution, so.
I'm okay with 135. but
Yeah,
That's me.
Okay,
is that what it is? 135?
Well, no, I think,
Was it?
was it
385?
Betsy and who at on the
Kevin.
committee? Is that where that came from?
yeah.
You and Kevin came
Yeah.
to 3.5.
And Frank was here too, and he didn't think $100 would do it. Yeah,
Make a motion that we proceed with the $300 fine for the first offense, $500 fine for each subsequent offense, and they reset 65 calendar.
I second that.
okay, and it's second set, okay. All in favor of the fine being $300 for the first time, $500 for subsequent violations, and reset each year, say aye. Okay, anyone abstaining? Okay, all right, I will get that on a resolution for the next meeting. All right, could I get a motion to pay the accounts payable claims for fiscal year 25 for $152,933.84? Okay, we got Clyde and Joanne. All in favor of approving the accounts payable claims for fiscal year 25 of $152,933.84, say aye. Okay. Now, could I get the motion for to pay the accounts payable claims for fiscal year 26 of $159,965.02? Okay, Mike, and a second by Betsy. All in,
Can I just ask a question about
yeah,
the claim? I think it's to the federal government for the floodplain study,
mhm.
25,000. So then I remember how does the 25,000 fit in it? Cause it seemed like we budgeted over 2 years, like 125,000 or more is our share of and this has been completed. This is the report that we got a few months ago from the Army Corps of Engineer, correct?
Yeah, and we had the public hearing, but I do recall approving a payment to the county before, so I know that we have been making small payments. I think I kind of remember, I think it was 40,000 the last time. So I believe that this is the last payment, I think, for the study.
Okay.
Now we have talked about budgeting money, starting to budget money, because when we are moving forward with this levy project, we're gonna have to have some money set aside, even if we're able to get grants or help or whatever. If we have to go out for a mill, I don't really know yet. But, we are trying to start to put some money aside this budget period.
Yes, we talked about it. I haven't heard much lately on it. Thanks for bringing that up. And yeah, that's great because seemed like our share will be at least a few 100,000.
It's gonna be about 1.5 million,
Okay,
yes.
times 5.
And the counties is the same.
Yeah,
And then the Army Corps pays 65% and we pay 35. And that is, split between the city and the county. So,
and just to finish on that, just that's what I was saying. So that is general fund money we put into an account for our floodplain, whatever that account is.
I believe.
'Cause I
so.
remember talking about that the other day, but that's a very good idea.
Yeah, we just touched on it the last. We're just starting to set aside a reserve
Mhm.
for, our out-of-pocket cash that we're gonna have to put forward for this project. And then once the project is complete, then we have to think about ongoing
Maintenance.
operation expense. But what we're talking about is what could be several $100,000 out of pocket to get the project complete. And that's assuming we get grants or maybe loans or some combination thereof to cover the rest.
I think that'd be very helpful to convince the public, because it seemed to me there was a vote that needed to take place. I know I'm getting down the road a little bit, but before any of that initiates, actually, it wasn't that far into the future, if I remember a little better, the engineer from Omaha, Nebraska, here report to us that could even been the end of this calendar year. It seemed like we had to be ready to make some decisions as a community. And if we have some money that I would think help our community think of that more positive in addition to everything else that has been done and by you too, Mayor. So, yeah, that's great. Thanks.
So did you get your question answered? That
Yes.
That's part of, okay.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. So then all in favor of paying the accounts payable claims for fiscal year 26 of $159,965.02, say aye. Next is a motion to approve the July payroll of $410,356.11. Can I get a motion for that? Okay, Rhett, and a second? Okay, Betsy? All right, all in favor of approving the July payroll of $410,356.11, say aye. All right, that passes. Next, we have the department head comments. Do you have any comments, Mr. Center?
One more time to sort of lock down the last details and tweaks on the preliminary budget, so I expect that to be ready by mid-August. At which point we'll put a notice in the paper, it's available for public view, all of that good stuff, but it's also an opportunity for the council at large to look at it, ask questions for the public hearing, which is going to be at the regular council meeting on September 2nd. So we're getting down to the end of that process. The other update is the new time clock software. We did go live with that on August 1st, last Friday. The folks have been really helpful around the different departments, just giving feedback. There's always tweaks and improvements to make once actual users start using the product. So we're working through those, but overall, I'm pretty happy with how things are going right now. And once we get a couple months under our belt with processing, I think it's going to be a really good tool, not only for the employees, but for the managers too. Yes, sir.
Yeah, John, we kind of had a gap in there in our financial director position. It seems to me we used to vote to approve the preliminary budget and as a council. And I'm looking I guess that'd be 2 weeks then. I mean,
Okay.
and everything you said fits in that. But last year, it seemed like, and some of the years before, it seemed like there was some, especially the first year we had Hyde Bailey, I mean, gosh, they came on board probably right around August, but,
Yeah.
but anyway, yeah, I think that's something that we always did before, was have a formal vote on the preliminary budget, and then,
Well,
and the public gets it after that, after we.
I would feel much more comfortable with that. So August 19th then will be the date that we're gonna shoot. That's our only option, right?
Yeah,
Um,
we're kind
But
of,
no, I personally would. Look at it, ask questions, and not seeing it for the first time in public hearing. So yes, thank you for mentioning that. We'll plan for that.
is the public hearing, sorry, is that the same night of the September 2nd, the actual budget, or 3rd, the budget hearing, or that's
So.
right at the start of the meeting, right? The
Right.
budget hearing, yeah.
That's how it was done, I think, the last couple of years. In my opinion, that doesn't give you any time to really digest any comments the public may have, and it probably doesn't give the public a great deal of confidence that you're taking any comments they have seriously, speaking frankly. So the option is to have it maybe a little bit earlier, maybe the end of the preceding week, but we just, if that is what we want to do, we just need to make sure we properly plenty of time. It can just be on its own separate night, if that's what the council. Right.
Or if timing would allow, we could do the public hearing on August 19th. Then we approve the preliminary budget and on September 2nd. Final.
Well, the public hearing in the 19th would give the public much really any time to look at the budget. If that's gonna be our only public hearing for them to.
Well, I guess I thought, I mean, in the past, people had a chance to comment even at the September 2nd meeting, because I think it was someone on the council on the night of approving it, approved to raise the mill levy to get a fire truck.
Mhm.
But I don't know who
I
that,
do remember that, Brad.
but anyway,
So that, yeah, that's an option, you know, we just would want to get that to the public. Have those options.
Would it be okay, Mr. Center, then on August 13th that the committee sets up the rest of the timetable for the budget? I mean, next week, the FUPR meets and we could say, well, here's, you know, just lay it out there and we'll get it all done then. And
Yeah.
But I think, the city needs almost, you have to put it in 3 times in the paper or 2 times, 3 times?
2 times,
Two?
at least 6
Yeah.
days apart, so once 2 weekends.
Mhm.
So if we noticed it, whatever that would be,
16th or something,
the
15th.
16th and the 23rd, or the 23rd and the 30th. So that's kind of where we get into a little bit of a time crunch. If we have that public hearing, that's what needs to be noticed. So we would have to do that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that following week, but that's up to you guys, if you guys want to do it, because that would require a special council meeting then if we did it in between the 19th and September 2nd.
well, I think, and I would be okay with that, too, but I think you're saying if we decide right now, then we can get notice in this next weekend and following weekend, and we can have a public hearing on the 19th, approve the preliminary budget, and still on the 2nd. Correct. So if we just commit to the dates right now, then we don't have to do a special council.
Yeah, that actually, you guys think that's probably okay? Joanne, Betsy, Clyde, Doug? It's always holding out.
We can just set the date right now. So.
Yeah.
Sure, I mean, it seemed, yes, because you're gonna publicly notice it. So the public will have 2 weeks to prepare. So that they're. Okay, I know that the hearing is gonna be on the 19th. And then we'll have,
And I think coming out of the committee next week, the Ranger review, they would be able to freedom of the press, they put in the paper whatever they want on the budget, so the public has an idea when they show up on the 19th. And if they have specific concerns, they could come in before that and look at the budget and be prepared for whatever it is they want to say and stuff. But after the committee goes through and looks at it next week, then the people certainly have information there to go from.
Yeah.
I think Doug said write the check. Which doesn't make sense.
so just so I'm understanding this, we're setting the date right now. Okay.
Do we need a motion?
No, this is just a report.
That's not, I mean, that's why I'm.
Well, but we don't, we just need consensus. We don't need to, that's not.
Okay, okay. Just seemed a little strange doing department head.
Did you have anything else?
No,
Okay. How about you, Chief Mills?
Couple quick things. Informational for dispatcher at the Montana Law Enforcement Academy. All this week and next week. And then an officer meeting to go at the beginning of September. Be back right before Thanksgiving. That officer will come back. So this has been a challenging month with a lot of going on and that part-time dispatcher field, you're gonna see a lot of overtime on the last time sheets. But I think that we had to do, so we've made it happen. So unfortunately, you're gonna see some overtime that came through. And then stats are current CFA calls for service for the month of July was 547, and our current citations for that month were 31. That doesn't include felony fees, warrants that have there.
Well. Okay, thank you. Did you have anything, Mr. Rubus?
No, Mayor.
Okay,
Mayor?
yes.
Chief Mills, you're coming to the FUPR meeting next Wednesday? Okay, and if you want, you get to be number one, and when you get done, you can blow us off then. Number one.
All right,
Thank you,
the
Mayor.
Public Works report is in your packet. The city court report is in there, and Finance Journal vouchers are in your packet. The street committee meets on August 13th at 4 p.m. The super on August 13th at 4:15. I just have a couple of announcements. Just letting everybody know that the pool season is winding down. Next week we'll only have afternoon swim times. The final day for the pool is Friday, August 15th, and on that day, everyone can swim for free from 1 to 4:45. I really want to thank the pool managers, the lifeguards, the cashiers, and the public work employees who've all made this a very successful pool season. And thanks to Kevin Pena for all he's done this year to help keep the pool operating. There'll be a lot of changes next year, and we'll work those out and announce the changes prior to next year's opening. So I want to thank everyone who've taken the time to compliment the city for how nice the parks are looking and how much they appreciate everything that's been done at the pool. I've heard from a lot of people in the community, and it is really nice to hear. But we had an excellent group of kids working at the pool and in the parks this summer, and thanks to all the summer kids for being part of our team and making a difference in their community. And I hope everyone has had a chance to thank our local first responders. I don't think we have much time to get to the National Night Out, but I want to thank all these exceptional men and women who give so much to our city. So thank you all. And with that, we can move for adjournment. So moved, I second, all in favor of adjourning, say aye. All right.